What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, people? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? It is that Monday. It's a Monday. I was supposed to be at a baseball game. We had baseball all weekend, and going through this because we had so many rainouts. They was trying to figure out a way to make up all these games that the kids have all these rainouts. And tonight was supposed to be, but we had a rainout. We had a rainout. The kids did awesome this weekend. They went, played in a tournament on this weekend. My grandson played fabulous, just fabulous. They ended up taking second in the championship game. They had to play 3 games to get to the championship game. They won. They won them. Oh no, they tied. But because of the run between differential, they end up winning on that way. And then they went into the championship game, and they played an awesome game. So I'm so proud of the team. I'm not coaching, but I'm there cheering my grandson on, and I am so proud of him. He had still a 4-game stretch there that I think he went 7 for 8. He only got out once on second. I think it was second. The rest of the time, he either scored or he knocked in runs, and so it was an awesome weekend, an awesome week in baseball. I love baseball. I love Little League baseball. I love coaching it, and I love watching now my grandson play. But hey, what's going on? How you guys doing? I haven't been down here. For a while. Again, like I said, because we literally either been at baseball or we've been at and my youngest not my youngest, my second grandson, he plays soccer. So those are those days where we have to go to Maple Grove for the soccer games, and then run all the way to back up to Coon Rapids for the baseball games. So, but you know what? It's awesome. We love this time of year. This is pretty much the best time of the year. I always say, anytime we get to watch our grandkids in sports, it's awesome. But anyway, again, how you guys doing? I hope everybody had an awesome week, awesome weekend, and that whole 9. But we're going to get into some stuff here on tonight here real quick. We'll get this here knocked out. I got to go plug in early tonight because I've got to be at the clinic at 9 a.m. in the morning. I hate when they give me these early appointments. I hate it. Give me an appointment like at 1 o'clock. I'm up. I can talk to you. I can. I'm functional. I'm not functional at 7 o'clock in the morning. I just don't work that way. Some of y'all do. That's cool. I just don't work that way. But hey, so we are at a point in Minneapolis that it's either now or there is no turning back. I'm been dead serious, because when you get 200 to 300 kids out at a park and some numbskull, thug, punk decides that I'm going to drive by all of these kids and I'm just going to start shooting. We're at a point to where something has to be done now. Because if we don't stop it right now, it's not going to get any better. I don't mind kids gathering. That's fine as long as they're getting together and they're not doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. I don't see why. I mean, we used to do it. We used to go out in the cornfields, right? If you're from the country, you know what I'm talking about. We all get together, go out in the cornfield, sneak some Wild Irish Rose or some Mad Dog 2020 out. I'm telling on myself now. And we would enjoy ourselves. You had just have a good time. You didn't have to worry about nothing. You didn't have to worry about no one shooting. You didn't have to worry about, little weed went on also. Come on, tell the truth. Little, marijuana. Somebody had a little weed that was floating around. People want to act like they have I've never done that before. Okay, then you missed out. That's all I'm saying to you. Period, point blank. So, yeah, some of us had a reason to go run to God. Trust me when I say that. But for these kids to have these firearms, and again, we're not being active on finding out how they're getting these firearms. We're not being active on where they're actually coming from in the community is a problem. And we're not. You don't hear anything from these gun right groups. You don't hear nothing from them. You don't hear anything from the black churches, especially after last night, after the situation happened last night, right? And I didn't say anything. I'm just shut my mouth. I went down there last night. By the time I got there, they had the place all coordinated off, and you couldn't even pretty much drive up. They had everybody back so far. But I was talking to a couple people that were down there when everything happened, and they were saying that, next thing they know, they heard gunfire. I mean, over 200 rounds. Over 200. I'm sitting there going, wait a second. This had to be, think about it. 200 rounds. Somebody decided to shoot off into a park into a bunch of teenagers. I'm like, where are they getting the money? Oh, well, no. Let me back up there. I know where they're getting the money to buy all these rounds. But then I have to ask myself, because most of these kids are underage to buy rounds, what store are they buying these rounds from? 200 rounds was fired off. More than that. But again, we come down to the point of going, what do we do? What do we do? Because, like I say, the black church isn't doing anything. They're not doing anything. They basically have basically closed the doors, and they feel that, we're not going to say anything. And I can say that for this reason. Because I've had meetings with those of the black church. And one of the things that I know for a fact, and I was told this, and like I said, I don't talk about nothing that I can't tell you point blank, that the black church is upset with the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party went too far left. And what I mean by that is just like what this month is. And they have said point blank. And in the black church, we believe you don't hate the person, you hate the sin. Now, we can call Pride Month all you want. That's fine. I have no, like I said, I have no problem. I've been to the gay 90s, right? I've been there, partied. But it's not the person. It's what the person does. It's what the black church is now saying has gone too far. And so they have basically shut down somewhat almost on everything. Because there's no one that made any type of statement on what happened last night. The governor didn't say anything about what happened last night, but he made a statement on Wayzata. He made sure he came out and made a statement on that. He made a statement because he was making sure that he kept that base, that liberal white mom base. But black folks, there is nothing he's going to say. He hasn't said anything on any of the shootings that's happened in the community. The so-called violent interrupters. See, I'm thinking that there's probably about 70 groups out there that calls themselves violent interrupters. And in that 70 group, probably about 50 of those groups are getting paid really good. My mindset, my thought was, if you got 200 to 300 kids in a park, those violent interrupters who are getting paid pretty good money, taxpayers' money, should be out there. Chaz says the mayor and police both have made narrative statements, and I'm told they arrested the shooter early. Yeah, oh no, Chaz, I know I watched the statement of the police chief. I've read a statement from Mayor Fry. But what I'm saying is the governor made a statement when it came to Wayzata, and he says nothing about this here shooting. I just think that's funny that he's so quiet on this here shooting here. But that's okay. We understand where his mindset is, and it's a shame black folks don't see that. But these violent interrupters, I would think, I'm just my thought, would be in that crowd, would be down there making sure that these kids are not down there causing trouble, not doing things that they're not supposed to do. I mean, if the city pays these people all of this money, I expect you to do taxpayers' money. Now, see, this is where, to me, just to me, I'm not talking to anybody else. This is when I look at the people of Minnesota, the taxpayers of Minnesota, and I called them cowards. Because the only time they bitch about stuff, they don't put anything in in action. The people of Minnesota will bitch their butts off, but they ain't doing nothing. They're not doing anything. If my tax dollars are being spent on phonies, let's speak up on that. All the fraud that has been going on here in Minnesota, and everybody just sitting back like it's normal, like it's no big deal. Chaz Neal, urban conservative. If y'all ain't follow him, y'all need to follow that cat. Has put out all types of stuff that I think that the normal taxpayers should be upset about. We ain't upset about that. We only get upset about things that people tell us to get upset about. All this money that has been down the drain on Tim Walz's watch. All of this money on Tim Walz's watch. Then they sit there. They said, "Well, Rev, you got to understand. He wouldn't know. Then we got a bigger problem than I thought. Then we got a bigger problem than I thought." Oh, he knows. They all know. All of them Democrats knew. So don't sit here and fool yourself as if they had no clue what was going on. They knew. All of them. Same thing with these here so-called violent interrupters groups. Why wasn't they at Boom Island? Why? Why wasn't they downtown this weekend also? Because you can go from downtown to Boom Island real quick. So by the time I got home last night, well, when I left, I didn't. None of them was out there. I did a whole lap, walked around as much as got as close to the tape as it possibly can. But they like I said, they had that place all. That place was locked down, roped off, and some everything else. There was nothing no one was doing. But I watched this kid. His name Cortez Rice. I was trying to see if I can get move his from Facebook over to here so you can see the video that he got. I mean, he was like right there up close with the situation. But what you see, some started to get upset. Two wards didn't have it endorsed at all. Oh, they're getting upset. Oh, they're getting upset at endorsements? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I'm not even, you know what, I haven't been keeping up with that stuff, Chad. Who got endorsed and who didn't get endorsed and all this here. Does endorsement really, I mean, think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, is endorsements really that important anymore? Who endorses you and who don't endorse? Is it really that important anymore? Because I know people hate the Star Tribune, and whoever the Star Tribune endorses, everybody's going to be like, "Oh, that's phony, that's fake, we don't care." So if another representative or state senator endorses somebody else, does it really matter? Really honestly matter anymore? Does it really do something to make you go, "I'm going to vote for this person"? I've never voted off somebody being endorsed. I've never voted off somebody being endorsed. Like I said, the first time I ever voted, I voted for Reagan, right? Because my daddy said that the Republicans take care of his check. I'm a military brat. My dad's a military man. And my grandfather my grandfather died a Republican. He never made that big switch in the 60s. He voted for Richard Nixon, and because he believed in the conservative beliefs. That's what he believed in. He didn't believe in the party, but he had that conservative. Same thing with all black people, and that's what gets me even today about the community. We are a conservative group of people. We are, at the end of the day. I know everybody, oh, well, you vote for the Democrats and you do that. I understand that. But when it's all said and done, if you sit back and you really listen to black people and you really let them talk and tell you what they think, you're going to sit there and go, you're a conservative. You're not a Democrat. We're not. We've always been conservative. We when we started voting, we was voting conservative. Until Barry Goldwater came into the mix, and Barry said, we don't want y'all. And any of the low-hanging fruit that's left over, then we decided to go hang out with the Democratic Party. But we're a conservative group of people. We are, and we always have been, and it's going to take a lot to change things back over to where things are. But we have to get started in the community. Because what happened in Boom Island the other night is pathetic. And one of the reasons why it's so pathetic is we just came off a situation where black folks was fighting over, I kid you not. Black folks were fighting over money. The little Hank fruit is going after each other because they had a couple $1,000s that we fighting over it. Which group does what and how they do this and how their group did this and how their group all of this here type of stuff. But you don't see no change. There is zero change, and you had all of these people fighting over these here couple $1,000s that the city had in their budget to give to people who call themselves doing stuff in the community. But there is no change. That's the thing that always gets me about this. We got all of these groups. I'm talking to this pastor at this church, and he said we had 70 groups of violent interrupters. Almost 70. And there's no change. Millions of dollars, no change. But everybody's saying they're doing this and they're doing this and this is going on and this is happening. We're here and we're here and here. No change. Kids are running around with switches on their guns and running around being able to shoot 200 rounds. But I'm going to show you something else. We sit here, I can sit here, and I can, like I always do, bitch and moan about walls forever. But when you got the Republicans doing stupid stuff, right? So it doesn't matter that Tim Walz and the Democratic Party decided that they was going to get Mincher. They were going to get Chad said the audio from the shot spotters was, oh, I'm sure they was, man. With all the gunfire going off. So here's the Democrats just out fighting to make sure we give health care to people who shouldn't be here. Okay? It was like, oh, that's cool. We made sure that we were going to give them free driver's license. And all right. Oh, you get free college. They went through a surplus like it was nothing. Like picking up sand and doing this here. So you would think in the back of your mind, oh, they done messed up. They got to go. Some of the things that's been done here in Minnesota is just outlandish. The way that the Democrats have carried themselves, the way the Democrats have been legislators at the Capitol. You would think that. There's no way in the world that they could stay in power doing this here type of stuff. Not taking care of home. They're more worried about people who are coming here, making sure that everything is safe and good. They can come here, they can land tomorrow and be part of Milk and Honey on the next day and driving around in a nice car with a driver's license and their kids going to jail. That's what the Democrats have done here in the state of Minnesota. Now, I love taking care of people. I know what my Bible says. Compassion is what pretty much the Bible says. You come here the right way. Sure, I get your health care. Sure, we'll make sure we'll see about getting your kids in college. Sure, you need a driver's license. We realize and understand that because you can't get back and forth to work. I understand all of that. But I also understand the law, too, because the book says that. The book tells us to obey the law. We have to obey government. And somewhere down the line, the Democrats didn't read that part. It's like the Republicans. They like to nitpick the Bible. The Democrats nitpick the Bible when it comes to law. Correct? No, they do. Because if someone who's not supposed to be here, if you're going to give them all of this stuff for them to be here, then you're not obeying the law. I believe in obeying the law. So that's what I'm talking about. You come here the right way. You come to Minnesota. I don't have a problem in helping you. But you can't come here and do what they're doing. You know what? Tomorrow I'm going on 31st. I'm going to show you. I know that dude, Tim Norton, what's his face? He loves to ride around Minnesota and show y'all the good spots. And don't get me wrong. That's another thing. Hold on. Let me do this. Let me do this. Because I know sometimes I say something and somebody will jump on my get up and swear up and down I said something and I said this. And I just go, whatever. I'm not in the mood. Catch me on one of those days when I'm in the mood to play with you. I haven't been in the mood here lately, so y'all don't see me going back and forth with too many people here lately. But there are places. If you want to go, if you wanted to go to Minneapolis, you can go. Okay, so let me make sure y'all understand that, right? You want to go to North Loop and have a good time and enjoy it. Go down the North Loop and have a good time. Nobody's gonna bother you. They're not gonna mess with you, right? Matter of fact, the wife and I was over on. I'm trying to think of the name of the hold on. I'll tell you the little restaurant we went to, which was pretty cool. Cause we like to try. Well, we was over there. Matter of fact, for a hold on. I'll tell you where we was at. If I still have it here. If I still have it on here. Oh, it was called the Town Hall Tap. We went to this place called the Town Hall Tap, right? And it was pretty cool. It was really, really, really cool. And that was over in South Minneapolis, right? So if you looking for a really nice little restaurant that you want to go to and just hang out in and be like, wow, this is nice. You can sit down. They have seating inside and outside. Here I am talking about the place. But no, what I'm saying, if you want to go over in that area, you can go and it's fine. All right. I know what this one website says not to go to Minneapolis, but you can go. There's places. If you want to know, hit me up. Say, hey, Rev, I'm going to Minneapolis. We're looking forward to eat. Where can I go and where I can't go? There's places you can't go. I'll be flat out honest with you. There are places that you can't go. Period, point blank. But the most part, Minneapolis, you can go down there and you can have a good time. You can eat. Go to South Minneapolis. You can go down there. You can eat. Just know that you're not in Maple. Hold on. Just know that you're not in Maple Grove. Okay? Know that you're not in Plymouth. And what I mean by that is you keep your head on a swivel. Period, point blank. And people like Mike Norton, he knows this. He knows this, right? And it's good that he rides around and he shows you places that you can go. The places he goes, anywhere you see Mike Norton, you can go there. More than likely, a lot of places you see me going, you can't go there. I'll make it simple for you. If I go somewhere and I'm showing you something, more than likely you can't go. If Mike Norton is riding his bike and he's showing you nice parts, you can go there. It's okay. No, it's okay. But a lot of places I go, no. I'm telling you straight up. Don't be going, well, I seen Rev did a video down here, so I wanted to see what it looked like. And all of a sudden, plug up, you get hit upside your head. Don't blame me. I'm telling you straight up. I don't go places that Mike go. And Mike don't go places that I go. Guaranteed. So, but I say that to say this here. The Democrats have a stronghold on Hennepin County, pretty much where you need to win. We all know that. That's not a secret. I didn't just tell you something and all of a sudden y'all got a revelation. That's just not true. What's true is this. What is gonna get into is how people view a Republican once you get inside that 494, 694 loop. When you go up to Duluth, when you're in Rochester, because I go down to Rochester and have breakfast with the gun guys, these guys here. So I go down to Rochester on certain Saturday mornings, and have the breakfast with those guys. So I'm able to talk to them and hear the lay of the land and how the Republicans down there are viewed and things of that sort, which a Republican hadn't won Rochester in I don't know how long. Like they haven't won Duluth in I don't know how long. Then they haven't won Hennepin County in I don't know how long. But one of the problems that the reason why is compassion. Nobody, you get inside the 494 loop and it's like compassion just goes away. Matter of fact, I'll show you this here. True story. Matter of fact, Chaz can tell you. Go follow him. He'll almost tell you the same story. When Scott Jensen was running, Chaz was right there with me. And we was backing Scott Jensen, trying to get Scott Jensen into Hennepin County. One of the things that, which was one of the smartest strategies I've ever seen a party pull. I mean, this was like Long Ranger type shit, right? When the Republicans tried to get into Hennepin County, they wasn't going to go in there because they don't know how. Republicans don't know how to go into Hennepin County because they don't know how to talk to the people in Hennepin County. They have no clue how to talk to people inside of Hennepin County. So what Scott was going to do, Scott Jensen was going to wait for the debate. So Scott Jensen was going to use the debate to get inside of Hennepin County and to get into like Duluth and Rochester and all that. So he's going to sit back. I'm not going in there. I'm going to wait. And he did. He waited. And then Tim Walz was like, I'm not debating you. Oh, my goodness. Because Tim knew. That's how they wanted to get. That's why I always sit there and I laugh, because the Democrats is always playing chess. And the Republicans show up with their rocks. Those are facts. If you look at it for yourself, look into it yourself. I'm not telling you a lot of y'all something that you don't know. I'm just repeating what you know. Look at where Donald Trump won. Almost the highest turnout of Republicans voting here in Minnesota. He still couldn't win. He still couldn't win. Why? Because he didn't carry Duluth, he didn't carry Hennepin County, and he didn't carry Rochester. But the Rocks and Cows and all this here out here, he overperformed. But no matter what they do, Democrats, inside those three, the Republicans are seen in a way of saying there's zero compassion. It's just like this here Job Corps thing, right? Democrats look at it in a way of seeing it this way. At least we're doing something. Name something that the Republicans have done for poor people, for poor Minnesotans. No. Name something. I'll wait. I'll tell you what they've done. They fought to make sure that the SROs in schools can fold kids up like pretzels. They fought hard for that. And people in Hennepin County was like, boop. They fought hard for that. They did. And most of those kids that's going to get folded up in pretzels are going to be where? In Hennepin County. People ain't forgot about that. But that's what the Republicans do. And then you got the Job Corps. Now, one of the so-called influencers today put out what Washington gave them to say when questioned why they're closing down a program that helps pretty much black and brown kids. That's what Job Corps really helps. And here is like 150 kids, right? 150 kids. But we're going to close this thing down. And probably out of 150, 20 of them are going to be homeless. Because they don't have, most kids are in the Job Corps because they don't have a place to go. So the Republicans here in Minnesota, they ain't made no statement. They didn't say anything. They just going to sit back and cross their fingers. But I'm not going to let them forget this. Oh, I'm Hennepin County, and when I go up to Duluth, you better believe. You better believe. But this is one of the reasons why they never win, because they don't see things in a way of saying these kids need help. Show some type of compassion. Show some type of compassion, because it seems to us. I'm just saying to us, and I've got pastors who I'll get Brad on here. Matter of fact, Brad was sitting in the same meeting I was sitting in. And there was a reason I took Brad to this meeting, because I wanted Brad to hear it. I wanted Brad to hear it. I wanted Brad to hear them say to him, we can't vote for a Republican because of this, and because of this, and because of this, and this because of this. And no matter how many times I try to get these Republicans to understand that you got to be different coming in, you can do all that tinfoil hat stuff. You can do that out there. When you come to Hennepin County, you got to talk about policies. You got to talk about bills. You got to talk about what you're going to do day one hitting the ground. Here's our problems. Where can you work yourself into working on these problems? That's how you win Hennepin County. And if you can't do that, you're not winning statewide as a Republican. Doesn't matter doesn't matter what you think of yourself. It just won't happen. And right now, with the way things are going, and the way things seem like they're going, a lot of Republicans are not going to get voted into anything. Hold on one second. Somebody just hit me up. A lot of Republicans are not going to get voted in. Oh, that's great. A lot of Republicans are not going to get voted in anything. So what did I get a message from? Tom Bright's idea. I'm watching your show tonight. One of the positive. I'll read that. I'll read that in a little bit, Tom. Appreciate you watching the show, man. So now we're at a situation where we have to come to a point that everybody is represented here in Minnesota. We have to. Now, we have Pride Month going on now, like I said before. We can never hate God's children. You can't do that. You can't do that. And I got to get on Brad, because Brad put out there, this is the only flag that I'm going to fly. Brad and I got to have a conversation. Now, you can be proud of the flag, but you don't have to put it in somebody's face, and that's what I'm talking about. Now, it's Pride Month, but you don't have to shove it down our throats. Again, like I said before, you can't hate God's children. You just can't do it. You can hate the sin, just like an adulterer. You can't even hate them. You can hate the sin, and you don't have to be around them. But you can't hate the physical body. Even if they go through, everybody go through something. If I sat here and started telling y'all what I went through, you would hate me. But if you're a Christian, you realize you can't hate me. You have to forgive me for my sins, just like He's done, just like I've asked about, right? I hope that's how that works. So I got to have a conversation with Brad, the guy who's running for governor, and let him know that as governor, he too is going to have to come down to earth and realize that these people that a lot of other people talk about all the time, and these people who love to press this stuff in our face, is one reason why I had to leave Obama alone. Once Obama said that what did he say? He did something. He y'all know what I'm talking about. He said something, because Obama wasn't for gay marriage, or what we call gay marriage today. But Obama started this. This is where we're at today is because of Obama. Period, point blank. So that's why I could not vote for Obama. I voted for him the first term, but I couldn't vote for him the second term because his beliefs did not line up with my beliefs at all. Right? His beliefs did not line up with my beliefs at all. So I couldn't vote for him. So I still wanted to vote, so I had to go ahead and vote for a Republican that go around with everything. But I'm just here to tell y'all, don't be so mean this month. Don't be so mean this month. Okay? Be nice to the people, but hate the sin. And we all know what that sin is. But yet and still, if you call yourself a child of God, read your book. Hey, look, read your book. Read your book. No, read your book. That's all I can say to you. If you're struggling with this situation that's going on, and then I also want you to understand that you do realize that this world is not your home. We are strangers here, preparing ourselves for that day, right? And what we do know is God gave Satan, jurisdiction over those that are walking this earth. Because I keep trying to make people see. Here's the problem that I have sometimes with a lot of people. Because it's easy for people to sit here and say that someone has a mental illness. Because you understand that. Because that's how you've been programmed. Right? No, seriously. You've been programmed to say that, to think that. The minute you see somebody that has a problem, what do you say? Mental illness, correct? But if you go in your Bible and you read the book, and the book explains to you that when Jesus got to the other side, there was a man that basically they had to chain him up. And inside that man were demons. See, because we don't realize, understand that those very demons still walk the face of this earth. It's easy for us to deal with someone and say that's a mental illness versus what it really is. It's easy for us to do that. That's how we can compartmentalize dealing with people. Oh, he just got a mental. No. That man's demon possessed. There is something for a woman walking down a path, and a man gets something inside of him that says, go get her, rip her clothes off, and do with her what you want. That's not mental illness, people. No, it's not. But we sit there and go, oh, he must have been mental. No, that's demon possessed to do that. But because we can't bring ourselves to understand that and realize that, we call him mental. He needs to be put in the hospital. Okay. Didn't mean to get so deep, but I'm just saying there are people who have serious problems. And I'm sad, I'll be the first one to tell you those problems isn't just a mental illness situation, right? It's not. But anyway, fam, hey, like I said, I just want to jump down here for a little bit tonight. What I got, 9 minutes left. I'm not gonna take you guys over too much, but I just want you all to realize and understand that, again, I'll always say this: we are stronger together than we are when we're apart. When we stop fighting with each other, they win. Correct? When we stop fighting with each other, they win. Now I call out some of everything. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm gonna call it out. A lot of people get upset at me for doing that. Matter of fact, somebody got mad at me tonight. What was it? Okay, so there was this Carl. If you go to my page, Carl put this little cartoon type thing out there, right? And the cartoon thing was saying this lady was wondering if she should call the cops on a black man for breaking into her car. And I went a step above from her thinking, going, why would she not want to call the cops because a black man broke into her car? Why would she not want to call the cops because a black man broke into her car? Not that he would come back and beat her up or get her or anything like that, which can happen. But her mindset was, I can guarantee you, if it was played out, well, I'm not going to call the cops because if the cops show up, boop, a black man get killed, and then that's going to be on me, and everybody's going to come after me. So, like always, I always know who shows up anytime I post certain things. So somebody shows up, and then I have to show them, and he still hadn't answered me because I know what the answer is. He knows what the answer is. But he came to me and was like, well, you shouldn't say it like that and put every cop. I'm not putting I didn't say every cop. But I had to remind him there was a reason why they wanted to defund the police department. There was a reason why they wanted to dismantle the police department. And if you went to any of those meetings they had when they were strategizing how they were going to put this message out there, how they were going to talk to people at protest, when they had the big protest with the stage that said defund the police, there's a reason why that whole thing went down. Because every time a cop showed up, look up St. Paul shooting, look up St. Paul shooting disabled man and see how many people you come up with. Because, and I'm not just talking about black men. Look it up. Look up St. Paul, Minnesota. You can look this stuff up yourself. Because when cops show up, people die. That's a fact. That's why they wanted to defund the police. Because Philando Castile was shot and killed, and the police got away with it. That's why they want to dismantle the police department. Amir Locke, a kid they wasn't even looking for. They shot this kid. He's dead, and nobody is being held accountable for it. When police show up, people happen to die. Sometimes when I say things, some people get upset because they don't want to. Look, the one thing I've learned about Twitter and this internet thing, there's a lot of people that really don't want the truth. I could get on here and lie. Look, I can get on here and I could lie my butt off. And I get likes like you wouldn't believe. I can prove it to you. I can put the most positive thing out here on this here internet. And I look on my thing and get 3 likes. But I can put the most negative, hateful, ugly on this here interweave. And I look on that thing and it's got 100 likes. And that's why I sit back and go, wow, sometimes. Well, are we really this bad? Seriously, are we really this bad? The Minneapolis Police Department has corrupted their get up, right? And at first I was like, that's wrong, bro. It's so wrong for them to stifle information like that. But then I went to this website and realized, holy smoke, the hate on this website has went down 75% after the encryption from the Minneapolis. 75%. The ugly negative have went down so far. I'm like, wow. Wow. To the point that I'm actually going on there and reading stuff now again. So maybe the radio silence has cut the negative crap out. Has just cut it. It just cut it out ever since they went silent on the radio. And you know what? That's a good thing. No, really, it is. Because we really don't need that. We don't need the garbage. Here we are trying to put a nation back together. Here we are trying to make things nice. Here we are trying to shake your neighbor's hand. Am I my brother's keeper? And Twitter has just turned into a cesspool of just garbage. Let's do something different, people. Seriously, let's do something, especially here in Minnesota, because if we don't do something right now, we have to, listen to me, we have to do something right now, because if we don't, and certain people get into office, mark my word, I want you guys to mark, it is Monday, June 2nd, and it is 8:59, almost done. Check me out. But I want you guys to mark this. Seriously. If we don't, I told them in 2019, and I see things now, certain things that are about to happen. Certain people are about to get seats that if they do, listen to me. When you've got somebody who is somewhat wrapped around all of this fraud that's going on here in Minnesota, and they still get to have a seat, and the Democrats want to do this here, and this dude name is every time they get somebody, every time they turn over a new leaf, his name is on there. And he has a seat, an important seat. And he's still there? Listen, people, if you live in Minnesota and if you still sleep on this stuff, you're the problem. It's not the politicians that they keep voting in office again. You're the problem. You're the problem. If I didn't have everything, like I told Brad, I'm gonna tell Brad tomorrow. If we can get away and get down to Mankato for these track meets or the softball thing, Brad and I will be down in Mankato, because what's going on with that situation also, I know I'm over again. What's going on with that situation also should never happen. There's nothing in this world that y'all gonna try to make me. No, you can't even guilt me into this one. Now you can guilt me into the other one because I know I have to love that person. I can hate the sin, but you ain't guilting me into believing that a boy has a right. That this is what they're telling me in Minnesota. You born a boy, you change your name, and then you want to play girl. No. Sorry. Not here. Not ever. Not because see, I've got a granddaughter, and I'll be damned if my granddaughter is at a situation where she wants to play softball and she's playing against girls, and all of a sudden this team got this dude that's coming up and he's literally striking everybody out. They can't even put a ball. They can't even foul off a ball. And that's right. It's okay. That's okay. This is a Democratic Party, people. That's not right, people. I don't care. You say what you want. You say what. I'm telling you that's not right. And if everything works out the way it was, we're going down. We're going down. Now I'm bringing my bullhorn. And I will be saying something. Now the news station, they're not showing up there. Nobody show up because the news station pushed this crap. And every team, like I've said, you want to kill this movement? Every one of those teams with biological girls should walk off the field this weekend. Every single one of them should walk off the field. They should refuse to play. They don't have to play this. They don't need to. But we can't let this happen. We can't let this happen. So I'm telling you, you got to put people in place so this type of stuff don't go on. We can nip this. We can nip this in the bud right now. See, Tim Walz have to play the game. I don't. I know what's right and I know what's wrong. Tim Walz knows what's right. He knows what's wrong. But Tim Walz is not going to do anything about it. He's not going to come out and tell you that it's not fair for this dude to be mowing down girls at the plate. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I always say, like I always say, anytime Minnesotans want to speak out, let me know. But we don't. We don't. We just let it happen. And we're good. We just go on about our business like nothing's happening. And then when we stump our toe or when it bugs us, then we're going to say something instead of getting ahead of this thing. So next year, let's say we got 5 more. Then it's 6 more. Then 7 more. See how that works? See how that works? It was just like TV shows. TV shows, again, I'm fine with, but let me show you something. TV shows, every now and then, you've seen a gay person. Every now and then. Now, ever since the Housewives of Atlanta, and that's who I blame. The Housewives of Atlanta, they use the Housewives of Atlanta. No, go back and watch the show. Go back and watch the show. They used black women, the Housewives of Atlanta, pretty much to push that agenda. Go back and watch the show. They got on the backs of black people like everybody else do. And that's how they were able to push that agenda as far as it is today. Them black women on that show had hairdressers, their friend, all of them, almost every single one of them had somebody who was a guy who act like a woman. And that's, hold on. Okay, give me 1 second because I don't get this part. Okay? I don't get this part. Why are there so many men wanting to be women? I need somebody to, you know what? I need some, if you're gay and you follow me, DM me. I would like to sit down with you because I've got a question. I don't see many women running around with beards and, being all stocked out. And I see a few, what do you call them? I don't want to, I ain't going to call nobody nothing because I don't know the term anymore. It changes every week. But I want to know, why is there more men who are dressing up like women and who want to act just flat out feminine? Let's put it that way. So that's my question. So if you're gay and you follow me and you listen to me, DM me and let's have that conversation because I would like to know. I'd like to know. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get in touch with my gay friends that I met with. Because I haven't done anything to piss them off, so they probably answer. But if you're on here too, do me a favor, hit me up. Let me know. I would like to know. But we're going to end the night like we always end the night, realizing and understanding that we serve a true and a God-fearing God. And we should also fear him in that way also. We serve a God that no matter what you do, how you do it, when you do it, he's going to make things right for you. The only thing you have to do is give him your heart, your mind, your spirit, and your soul. And truly mean it. Don't come over halfway. Don't be like I was. See, when I first got myself in trouble and I came to God, my wife will tell you the same story. And I came halfway. All right. I was straddling the middle of the fence. I was like, I can hang out with God, but I can also go over and hang out with Satan every once in a while. It doesn't work that way. God knows everything you do, and he realizes that until you decide to be his and his only, then things are not going to go well in your life. They're just not going to go well in your life. I'm just telling you straight up right now. That's just how it works. Your faith can take you a long way. And I am truly, truly someone who can tell you that. Because he didn't have to put me where I'm at right now, right? He could have left me back where I was at and not even worried about me. But he was so good to me that turning myself over to him was hard. Hold on, let me make sure y'all understand what I just said. I don't want nobody ever to think that turning your life over to God is a walk in the park. Job. Read Job. You want to know what it's like to turn your life over? Read Job. Read Job. That's all I got to say to you. Read it. Then you understand. If you have never truly turned your life over to God, go ahead and read Job. That's what it's like. Because it's hard. It is. It is hard. It's hard to stay on that plane. I sin, don't get me wrong. Everybody do. We all do. But to stay on that plane of saying, yes, I've sinned. I've turned this over to God. I'll leave it to him. But I'm going to keep myself away from certain things. Drinking and smoking weed and being an adulteress, being out hanging out, doing all this here type of stuff. Yeah, somebody out there understand what I just said. So, but knowing that God is always on your side, knowing that God is going to be there for you. He even said it, I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. You're the apple of his eye. He knew how many hairs you had on your head. He said, I knew you in the womb. So who knows you better than God? God knows you better than your mom and your dad and everybody. When they turn their back on you. But if God ever turns his back on you, oh boy, we're in trouble. Hey fam, I'm gone. Know that God is always good all the time, and all the time God is good. Knowing that should put a smile on your face. And you know what we do with those smiles? We go out and we smile at somebody, so somebody smile back at you. Yeah, have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Peace, and I'm out.